Hello and welcome back to Just Talking with Chef Lou. I am Chef Lou, and we're at the Belmar studios of Wingman Planning, and we're at another podcast with a community leader who does great things in our community, Mr. Paul Hulse, the CEO and founder of Just Believe in Toms River. We're going to dive in and see what they're all about. And Paul, I thank you for joining us today. Paul, why don't you tell our viewers the story behind Just Believe and how it started?
Woo! All right. Yeah, that's a. I'll give you the short version.
The genesis, how it started. Yeah.
I'll give you the short version. So, basically, I was running another nonprofit, and they had hired another CEO in the place of me when we were supposed to do a transition. So basically, what was going to happen is I was working for another organization, and I was supposed to take over the role of chief executive officer, and instead they put somebody else in my place. So I tried to stay with the organization, still try to honor the mission and so forth, but the mission started changing of the organization, and I just felt it was time for us to maybe take a different step. So I had a meeting in the basement of a church, Assembly of God Church in Toms River, and got with a group of people, and I said, I really feel in my heart that we need to start a new nonprofit just focusing on Ocean County. And
keeping it in your backyard.
Yeah, kind of like, it's where the roots and the foundation was. We were kind of doing with the other organization, Ocean County and Atlantic County, and we were very successful in helping people, but the issue when, the person that was the CEO retired and him giving somebody else that position really changed my perception and obviously the direction and mission and focus what I had. So when I met with the group, I didn't really have a name yet.
Just went on your own.
I wanted
to go on your own.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of capture, the mission still. I wanted, stay focused, homelessness in Ocean County, how are we going to help the homeless and disenfranchised? And I was in church, and actually in the back, I started crying, and I was like, I don't know the name. What is the name that I need to give for this organization? And I heard, open your eyes. And when I opened my eyes on the altar, it said, believe. And I knew right there that's what the name needed to be. So I met with Bray, who helped me do all the paperwork to start the nonprofit. And we started Just Believe, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, but I abbreviated it down to Just Believe Inc. So that's how it evolved.
What is the core mission of Just Believe?
So the core mission of Just Believe is to help the homeless out of homelessness, wherever we find them, whether they're living in tents, abandoned buildings.
And that's there in Ocean County.
Yeah.
It's not invisible.
It's more. I think we've taken the homeless issue and put a bigger awareness around it than what we've had before. There's not a lot of organizations that do what we do. Not saying that there isn't, but I think that the way that we approach it really brings a lot of awareness to the issue and then also the solution, which is building a homeless shelter in Ocean County.
And that's the end game.
Absolutely. That's the ultimate goal for Just Believe, is to build a homeless shelter, a permanent homeless shelter. We've accomplished building a temporary shelter, which is Code Blue, which operates when temperatures drop below 32 degrees with precipitation, or no, sorry. Let's take out the precipitation part. 32 degrees, regardless of precipitation, is how Code Blue works. And
where do they go? How do they seek?
Yeah, so we have
Code Blue happens.
Yeah, so once a Code Blue is called, we can open up our building, which is owned by Toms River Township. We partnered with Toms River Township in the county to be able to open up a shelter system, and we opened up under the weather. Toms River took it one step further and gave us 35 degrees. So the state mandate is 32, and in Toms River Township, they passed an ordinance and gave us 35. So we have an extra 3 degrees, so we can open up a little sooner and get people in and try to help.
And where is that?
Toms River. So it's located in Riverwood Park in the rec building.
So anytime there's a Code Blue, there's a place for people to go to.
Absolutely. There's actually, since we started, when we originally started, we started in the basement of a church, and then we evolved into the township building. And today there's 5 other centers, including the main one that we run. We also started this year a family center with Oceans Harbor House, and we were able to help families this year, which was a total different avenue than I've had in years past. Like, we've always had families that we dealt with through motels and stuff, but when you actually see the families come in and the children, hugging each other, you come to that moment, you say, oh my God, it's not just the parents, it's the kids that are going through it too, which changed my whole concept on this, homelessness in general.
Where does this come from? Your need to help your brother and sister? Where does this come from? Does it stem from somewhere?
I would say my faith, obviously in God, I gave my life to Jesus 18 years ago, and, I was suffered from addiction, when I was younger, from, I was 13 till I was 26. And, I know what it's like to be addicted. I know what it's like to be lost. I know what it's like to be broken. I was raised by a single parent. My dad did a great job with me. I just had my own issues that I had to deal with. And when I found my way through Christ, that really opened up my opportunity to do what I do today.
That's great.
It's
Good to hear. Good stuff on beating that demon. That's awesome. And I'm sure you deal with a lot of that in your travels. I mean, it's not all cupcakes and lemonade out there when you're helping people who are homeless. So what are some of the challenges out in the field? We were talking earlier, I mean, there has to be some people don't want to be helped. Some people want the help. So how do you navigate those waters?
And that's the hardest one to break is, I hear that so often. People say, homeless people don't want to be helped. That's not the case. I never when I grew up, I wanted to be a fireman. I've never heard anybody say when they were growing up, I want to be homeless.
Right.
So
right.
we have to go back that far to realize that nobody wants to be in the position they're in. There's so much brokenness that happens. They've hurt family, they've hurt loved ones, they've hurt
Sure.
friends.
Sure.
They've burned bridges, through their life, and they're just at a point where they've given up. And you go to that person, you say they want help, they're like, no. But as you build a relationship with these people, you learn their circumstance, you learn what they've gone through, and that's how you get through those burned bridges. And then sometimes it takes years. I've got guys that I've worked with for years, women that we've worked with for years, and it takes time. Like you just, and consistency. You're gonna get in battles. Or, I think we talked earlier. We said about approaching the tents and stuff. There's times when we go out in the tents, they don't want us there. But we keep coming back because we know sooner or later that trust barrier will be broken because they know that why these guys won't give up. We've tried pushing them away. We've tried interrogating them. We tried to go at them through social media. We tried all these different things, but they still keep coming back. Why? Because we're here to help.
So those blue shirts show up, right?
That's right.
And I see them online. Check them out on what's the URL?
JustBelieveInc.org.
JustBelieveInc.org. You could check them out there. Just to give you a quick heads up. What are some of the misconceptions as we talk about the homeless?
Well, I think the biggest stigma is everybody says, they're drug addicts or there's mental health issues, and I think that there's more to the story than meets the eye. The addiction part is part of the symptom. What's easier to get, a home or a bag of dope? What's easier to get, a home or a beer? They're like, oh, well, why don't they just go get a job? It's like, okay, they get a job and then what? They're living in a tent. How do you work? How do you shower? How do you do all the basic things that you need
It's
without
almost
a
like the
shelter?
mountain's so hard to climb.
Yeah.
And you're there to help them get up it. That's pretty fantastic stuff. How many are in your group now?
So we have over 270 volunteers. We have 14 employees now. So
That's great.
We've expanded in the last year. We were fortunate enough to get some grants that helped us open up and then be able to do more awareness, which has been really, really fantastic. And being able to have that consistency. When with a volunteer, people forget that word volunteer. They do it on the time when they have it.
Mm-hmm.
When you have them as employees, it changes the aspect because now the employee can go there and be there consistently. They can set up the appointments. They can set up those times. When you have a volunteer, they're working around their full-time job. And now being able to employ people has really changed that dynamic for us to be able to help on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, that's a big challenge. But to have that many employees and this early in the game for you, I mean, you're young, 2019, right?
Yeah, we started in 2019, and we're only going to be 5 years old this year. So,
So
we,
5 years young. That's great.
yeah, we're,
And do you see now? You said the homeless shelter. How are you going to get there? How's it going to get there? How are we going to get the money to get that happen?
that's the biggest challenge. Right now we're actually in the first phase. We're building a home. My friend Larry was a veteran, and I lost him to addiction April 9th, 2022. And somebody donated the land to me. The Leary family donated this plot of land in Little Lake Harbor. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this land? And it was in 2021, and Larry passed in 2022. And when he passed, I knew right there that I had to do something for veterans. We were childhood friends. We grew up. It was, someone that I've known my whole life, from elementary school. I mean, we grew our first pot plant together. You know what I mean? Like we were close. You know what I mean? And I always bring that one back. That and I'm sure some people are like, "Oh my God, he said he grew pot and he smoked." When I was a kid, it was so cool because when we grew that pot plant together, and it brought me back to a memory. I was pulling up in front of my house, and I stopped and paused, and I thought of that memory, and we both looked at each other when we said it. Said, "Man, we do great things together, don't we?" And now I get to build a home in honor of his name, and be able to help veterans in Ocean County, and I'm so excited about
Is
it.
that what the land is dedicated for? Like it's a veterans home
Correct. Yeah. So it'll be a 4-bedroom ranch
in Little Lake Harbor.
in Little Lake Harbor. We raised about $100,000 so far, and then I'm
stuff.
working on loans and stuff. And they actually said to me, they go, "Can you put it in your name?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if that's what whatever I have to do to get this done, I'm gonna do." And I don't even own my own home yet, but here I am. I'm putting my name on a house for someone else to live in.
Yeah.
And I think that when it didn't hit me until yesterday, like, oh my God, here I am again, being selfless in my act of trying to help people. Everybody has all these pre-notions and stuff, and they say these different things, but I'll tell you that, my notion is to just help people. There's a need, I want to help.
You have a drive for it.
Thankfully my wife is very supportive. My board is great. The people that like yourself and working with all the different nonprofits that we have.
Yeah, what are some of the partnerships and collaborations that you do to count on?
Yes, so I mean, obviously for Code Blue, we count on the township, the county, the sheriff's department, the police departments, local businesses, places like yourself, to provide food and meals for people. It's so important to work together.
We've been blessed to be able to assist in some points in the past couple of years. That's we're proud of that, and we're proud of the work that you do. What's going on in 5 years? Tell me 5 years from now. What's Just Believe at in your head?
We walk by faith, not by sight. I don't know.
Okay.
I know that the future is bright if we stay obedient to what God has called us to do. I don't know. I can't predict that far ahead. I'm still trying to just get through today, to be honest.
That's I'm sure that has to do with overcoming some of the challenges that you've had. You go ahead one day at a time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's and that's one of the things, like, when people like that go through addiction and stuff, and they look at me, they're like, "You don't know what it's like to go through addiction." Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And they're like,
You've
"What?
been there.
You?"
You wore it. You wore the shirt. You
Yeah,
did it.
I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be there, and I know how it feels.
So how does someone help someone off the street? How do they get to help Just Believe? Where do they go? Just go to the website, come see you?
So our biggest network is the homeless population themselves, is really how we've really evolved, to get people that need help. They just find us, sometimes, and even through, I'll be home, my phone's ringing, private messengers going off, people are they're like, "Oh, Paul, there's his name. Oh, so people find us, and they know how to get in touch with us. They can call 732-279-6157.
You hear that?
They can go to our website, justbelieveinc.org, to learn more about the organization.
I believe we have a link too on our site, because you're one of our resources in Ocean, because we do the same thing. It's a very similar mission, is help our backyard.
Sure.
Ocean, and we use Ocean in Monmouth County, but there is a lot of people that need help, and it's tough to find people like you in the community that want to step up or have the ability to step up, because like everyone has life, but you've made it a priority. And it's pretty fantastic stuff that you're making impact. Do you have any special, like a story you could tell us about a specific person that really touched you? Or I know there's probably tons, but is there one that stands out?
Yeah, I think I can go off of recent. You know, I had a family, I had a family of four come into the Ocean Harbor house, and it was a single mom with three children, and she was struggling. She was struggling with life. She was back on her car rent, rental on the, whatever the car payments, and she was also struggling with life or death. She was on the verge of maybe even taking her own life.
Wow.
But I kept staying with her. I says, we have a lot to fight for. I said, you have these three beautiful children, and you have a chance. And when I paid off the what she owed on the back car for 3 months, she broke down in my office and cried, I didn't know what to do
That's
because
touching stuff.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
how to respond to her. Um, and she said, I wasn't crying because you paid the bill. I was crying because God showed me that I am still worthy of life. And when she said that, my eyes and my emotions, I didn't know how to respond to her. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I
That's
don't,
tough stuff.
I didn't know, what to do. But
Pretty
now,
powerful.
now she's back working. Her daughter actually just went into emergency surgery. I was just on the phone with her this morning, finding out how things are going. And just being there for her, knowing that someone's in her corner, someone cares, and that's what she keeps saying. She's like, "Just Believe showed up when no one else would. Everybody else was giving me all of these lists, and you just gave me hope."
If that don't pull out your heartstrings, I don't know what will. Paul Hulse, I mean, the community is better off that you're around. So it's good stuff and pretty powerful stuff. Folks, you could check them out at justbelieveinc.org. Justbelieveinc.org. You can see how you can help. And I really thank you for being here today. I do. It's good stuff. Again, that's justbelieveinc.org. Folks, thanks for joining us today. I just want to give you a quick reminder. We have our fourth annual Chef Lou's Army golf outing coming up on April 22nd. There's plenty of opportunities for branding, networking. If you'd like to get involved, you can check it out at cheflousarmy.org. But on behalf of the Army and Mr. Paul Hulse, thank you for joining us, and you have a great day. Just believe.
Cool.
That's good stuff, man.